This video chart presentation is Sirius XM Radio. Sirius is a NASDAQ Global Select stock trading our ticker SIRI. Most people out there are aware of Sirius. We're going to take a look at this 3-year weekly chart. Just a huge climb from when everybody wrote this stock off, thinking it was a bankruptcy play. Actually went all the way down here and hit a nickel back in the beginning part of 09. Huge climb since then. Got up near 250. Making a little bit of a slide now, kind of getting somewhat bearish. But I want to take a look at this and try and identify some support levels. I don't think we're going to get a lot from these indicators as they are sliding off a little bit. See the MACD starting to trend downward. Really like to try and see it hold these levels. Don't want it to get too far down or it becomes more of a bounce play. Of course, we'll tie in with support. ADX dropping into a pretty neutral range coming out of a strong trend. And you can see that is indeed a very strong trend. This is over the course of almost a year. Had a real nice look to the ADX during that period. Again, just some common things we always touch on. MFI is holding the upper half of the indicator, staying bullish. Accumulation distribution trending upward. Now starting to make some slightly lower highs. That's where a little bit of concern comes in. Shaking money flow. Selling pressure starting to be dominant. CCI's dropped down real low. I do like the fact it's trying to channel back upward a little bit here in the near term. But overall, though, you can see the strength coming out of the chart. Same way with the full stow. Lower highs, breaking to the lower half of the indicator. And the tricks, of course, trending back down a little bit. Always look for that to hold around that zero line to show some strength to come back into it. And RSI is just kind of going right along with everything else. Just a real quick, interesting thing to note here. Just tried to break through this $2.40 area of resistance, 244 being the old high. See the RSI made a lower high. You can see a little bit of strength coming out of this play. Let's just see real quick. See how it tied into the other indicators? Lower high with the MACD starting to trend downward. Same way with the PPO. ADX similarly making a lower high. MFIs not too long after broke down through 50. Lower highs being made. You can see some strength really coming out of that chart. Just a real quick look there. Example of TA of what happens when resistance can't be broken. And looking at the indicators and getting a hint from them where the play could be going. Pull that off. That's not really that important to me at this point. What is important is this has a pretty good support level right here around this $1.70 area. See, not only over the last several months, going back into August trying to hold it, it was a support level earlier on in the year. It was a resistance level at the end of 2010. So I'll be looking for it to hold that, because if it can't hold that $1.70 range, it doesn't pick up much support again until it starts getting down here near the $1.25, $1.30 area. So that's a pretty decent sized slide from $1.70 all the way back to $1.25 or $1.30. And then some more doesn't come into play until we're getting down near that dollar level. Now the upside's pretty easy to determine. See, it does have some resistance right there at $1.90. And of course, top end's going to come back in there around the 240 area. Now, I'm by no means saying that Sirius is going to fall apart. Markets certainly have been struggling recently. Of course, that can be assisting in it falling from the highs recently. But I wanted to do is just take a technical look at it, show how it's fallen through the 50-day moving average at this point. That 200-day moving average is going to come in time with the next support level if it does fall through this one. And those are the areas I'd be looking at Sirius again if it can't hold this $1.70 and try and put together some upward pressure to go challenge this upper resistance again. Now again, remember this is a weekly chart, so it does move a little bit slower, but I think in the long term this is a good one to keep an eye on and see where Sirius goes from here. But as always, this is merely my interpretation of the SIRI chart. Thank you for watching and trade smart.